Welcome back to my channel one more week. I'm really happy to have you all here. By the way, if you're new here, my name is Alejandra. I am a pronunciation and delivery coach, and I am here today to teach you how to improve your pronunciation in American English step by step. And so the first thing that I want you to understand is that when you speak, you're not just producing sound, you're also moving your articulators, your mouth, your teeth, your jaw, your throat, your tongue, so many body parts right here that are involved with speaking. And so that means that whenever you speak, you have to realize that you are used to speaking and moving your articulators in a certain way. For example, I'm Spanish and I can totally feel the difference from speaking Spanish as well as speaking English. Like my articulators just move completely differently. And so what I have had to do, and what I think you should do as well, is to start training your articulators to move differently. And so I understand that it can be overwhelming, but trust me, all it takes is intentionality and the right tools to be able to achieve this fluency and this easiness, if you want to call it like that, when it comes to speaking English as well as improving your pronunciation. Also, make sure you stay until the end of this video because I'm going to give you guys a bonus step that is incredibly important for you to actually be able to improve your pronunciation as well as your comprehension and your clarity when you speak to other people. But without further ado, let's get started. Step number 1, learn the different sounds that exist in English and learn how to produce them. Chances are you're trying to speak English with the sounds that you have in your own language. For example, if you're saying words such as second, you're probably saying second, right? Because you see an O right there. And so you think that it's produced and pronounced as an O. However, in English, it's not true. In this case, we pronounce it as second because there's a schwa sound right there. I've already talked about this specific sound, but I also have a free training that walks you through exactly how English pronunciation works. So I will make sure to link it down below. But it is really important that you learn how English has different sounds and also how to produce them. Step number 2, you need to get to work and start practicing each sound by itself. I know it's not as fun as trying to speak super fast or trying to say a bunch of sentences and, just trying to do your best. However, it's really important that you start by each sound by itself, because if not, you're not going to be able to understand how to move your articulators to produce that specific sound. So first, you need to learn how the sound is produced in your mouth. Then you need to practice this sound with drilling exercises and repetition. Repetition is incredibly important. After this, you need to find words that contain this specific sound and once again repeat them over and over again. Repetition is really important because it gives you the muscle memory that you need to be able to produce those sounds without thinking. And so if you don't develop that muscle memory that you need, you won't be able to actually improve your pronunciation, and you'll be falling back into those articulator movement habits that you have. Step number 3 is to get to practice with other people. That means that you need to start initiating conversations in English, whether with your coworkers or if you have family members or friends or anybody. And you have to develop your awareness of the sounds that you have been learning. And so you need to pick one conversation with one person and try to use the sounds that you have been learning. And in this step is when you start realizing if you're actually learning the sounds or if you have found other sounds that are more difficult for you specifically. And so you start kind of realizing where you're at. So it's important that you start practicing with other people. Remember, awareness is key, because if you don't use those sounds, how are you actually going to know if you got it or if you didn't get it? You can totally expect for vowel sounds to be a little bit more difficult than some other sounds, just because, for example, Spanish has 5 vowel sounds versus English that has 12. So those are 7 extra sounds that you probably have never used before, and now you have to learn from scratch completely, and it can be a little bit tricky. So you can totally expect that to happen, but don't worry. The important thing is to persevere and continue to practice. Step number 4. start incorporating the sounds that you've been learning into sentences, not just words. And so here, you're going to choose one English speaker that you like, that you really admire, and you're going to start listening to him or her speak with videos, podcasts. Videos and podcasts work great. I recommend that you use videos with subtitles so that you can see exactly the sentences and the words that the person that's speaking is producing. So you're going to listen to them and you're going to imitate them. You're going to say exactly the things that they are saying, exactly the same way that they are saying it. Obviously, this is just trial and error because you're not going to be able to say the same exact sentences with the same exact pronunciation and intonation and delivery just the first time. So it's a, once again, drilling exercise, but imitation is amazing because we learn through imitation many times. We're trying to imitate people all the time. When we're little, that's how we learn how to speak because we imitate sounds all the time. So imitate this native speaker, try to repeat the words, the sentences, everything, right, in exactly in the same way. So what you're basically what you're doing is you're aligning your pronunciation with his or her pronunciation. If you find that you're having difficulties with a specific sound or a specific word, don't worry. You can stop and isolate that word and isolate the sound specifically that is hard for you and repeat it all over again until you have it and you're able to put it in the sentence and just say it all at once. All right, guys, you have made it to the bonus step. This step is important because it's going to teach you why English sometimes sounds weird and why sometimes it sounds like you're not even understanding, which is really important. So at this point, you have probably noticed that some of the sounds that you learned at the beginning in isolation actually sound a little different when you put it into sentences. If you have been listening to the native speaker that you chose over and over again, you have probably learned that they connect things really in a really weird way. And so the sounds don't even sound like the ones that you learned, right? So this is due to two main reasons. The first reason is that English sounds are often influenced by the sounds around them. And the second reason is due to connected speech. Connected speech is the art, I think it's an art, of connecting words within sentences and between sentences. That's why English doesn't sound as sharp and as, hammering. It's more fluid and it's more like chewing gum, if you want to call it like that. For example, take this sentence right there, right? If I say it in the way that I would say it in Spanish, I would say, what are we going to do tomorrow, right? So I would separate each word and I would just kind of put each word in a box. But in English, people don't say that. People say, what are we going to do tomorrow? Wow, that was super fast. What are we going to do tomorrow? What are we going to do tomorrow? See, they connect the first 5 words. What are we going to? And then do tomorrow. They say, what are we gonna? What are we gonna? What are we gonna? And they actually say it faster and all the vowels in each of those words, what are we going to do? Well, to, up until to, become reduced to a schwa sound, which I've already talked about, so I will link it down below. But I just want you to see that that's exactly why English sounds sometimes so fast. And the funny thing is that the sounds that you learned in isolation change within sentences depending on what words are more important, depending on the speaker decides what words are more important or not, but that's how it works. And I just want you to know that that's why sometimes you probably don't understand English completely, or why the lack of clarity, because whenever you talk, people are used to having words reduced and sounds reduced to a schwa sound. And so if I say, what are we going to do tomorrow? Obviously, the most important word right there is tomorrow, because what are we gonna, it's just there to help the word become grammatically correct. But in terms of meaning, what matters is do tomorrow, right? So So this is just a little taste of what English or connected speech is in English and how it works. But the step is that you need to be able to understand and identify when those sounds become reduced in sentences. So once again, watch those videos of the person that you chose, imitate them, realize that those words that they're using sometimes don't sound exactly the way that you learn them, but that's probably because they are reduced and all connected. Now, I totally understand that all of this process can be really overwhelming, and also like, how do you know if you're progressing, if you're learning the right sounds? And so I totally understand that it can be really hard, which is why I have developed a very specific program called Upgrade Your English, which is a program entirely about pronunciation in American accent. And in this program, I teach you exactly what you need, exactly each of the sounds in English, how to produce them, all the ins and outs of American pronunciation, as well as different materials, tons of practice, PDFs, audios, and direct coaching sessions with me. And so if you're interested in joining this program, please let me know. I will leave my email in the description box below. And if you're interested, feel free to send me an email and I will get you signed up ASAP. Okay guys, this is the end of this video. I hope you have enjoyed it. If you have, don't forget to click that like button to let me know, as well as subscribing to my channel so that you don't miss the next videos. I hope you have a great week and I cannot wait to see you guys next time.